Right now at noon, we are learning more information about the plane crash that occurred in Greene County yesterday afternoon. And Puerto Rico under a state of emergency as Tropical Storm Dorian aims at the island.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Wednesday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a look at your first alert forecast. Good afternoon, Dave.
Good afternoon, Mark. A beautiful fall afternoon out there. What's that? It's still summer. You could have fooled a lot of people with temperatures in the upper 60s right now and that wind out of the west making it feel pretty cool outside. Look at how choppy Lake Mendota is, and some of those sailboats are swaying in that wind. Currently at 68 degrees, west wind at 12 miles per hour sustained, but gusting in the 20s and 30s. The dew point in the upper 40s, so very crisp air out there. Here are the wind gusts in Lone Rock, wind gusts of over 35 miles per hour. So it is a blustery afternoon for sure. Temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s, and dew points very comfortable, right around 50 degrees. So temperatures in the low 70s for highs today. That wind relaxes a bit as we get into tomorrow, and we'll talk more about the chances for showers and thunderstorms as we head into your Thursday in your first alert forecast.
Summer's not done yet.
No, not just yet.
Yes, that's not done yet. Thanks, Dave. A McFarland teacher is arrested and could face multiple charges involving a juvenile. The McFarland Police Department says Andrew Meeks was taken into custody yesterday. Meeks is listed as a fourth grade teacher at Wabisa Intermediate School. Police say he could face multiple charges, including child enticement, exposing a child to harmful materials, and causing mental harm to a child. Police say it is an active and ongoing investigation. We'll have more on Channel3000.com. The Madison Police Department is investigating a burglary that involved an attempted sexual assault. Police say it occurred in the 600 block of North Francis Street around 4:15 Sunday morning. The man on your screen is a person of interest in the investigation. If you know his identity, please contact the Madison Police Department. A motorcyclist is dead after a crash in Beaver Dam. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office says it happened just before 6 this morning on Kellum Road, that's north of County Highway B. Deputies say a motorcyclist was making a left turn into a business parking lot when it collided with a car. The motorcyclist was taken to the hospital where they later died. The driver of the car was not injured. Deputies say the crash remains under investigation. Officials identified the couple injured in a small plane crash in Greene County yesterday. The Greene County Sheriff's Office says 66-year-old Luke Van Hurl and 58-year-old Nancy Van Hurl, both of Rochester, Minnesota, were flying from Rochester to Chicago when the aircraft sustained mechanical issues. The plane crashed in a cornfield along County Road FF near Monroe. The pilot was able to call 911. The pair taken by ambulance to the Monroe Clinic Hospital for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. Deputies say the FAA will be continuing their investigation into the crash. The plane is expected to be removed from the scene today. Tropical Storm Dorian is barreling toward Puerto Rico, and islanders now expect a direct hit on the eastern side of the island. Forecasters say the storm is gaining strength before its likely landfall there later today. Authorities say it could bring landslides, life-threatening flooding, and power outages. The CEO of the island's power company, Jose Ortiz, is making a bold prediction. He says if the entire island loses power, it should be back up in just 2 weeks.
We have to restore as quick as possible. It's not acceptable what happened the last time that many people wait for 11 months to get power back. Imagine if it was your family. So it's going to be different.
FEMA has brought in 500 extra people for support. Florida sent a search and rescue crew of 45 people to the island to be on standby for rescue operations. Purdue Pharma, the company that developed OxyContin, is reportedly ready to settle about 2,000 lawsuits for its role in the crisis. A government source with knowledge of the negotiation says Purdue Pharma is prepared to pay out between $5 and $6 billion. Purdue Pharma released a statement saying it's prepared to defend itself in court, but the company has made clear that it sees little good coming from years of wasteful litigation and appeals, and the people and communities affected by the opioid crisis need help now. The head of the top-selling e-cigarette company is responding to the growing number of breathing illness cases that people who vape. It's an interview you'll only see on CBS News. Hillary Lane reports from New York.
As the number of cases of lung illness among people who vape continues to grow, the head of the most popular e-cigarette company calls the report worrisome.
Worrisome for the category, worrisome for us.
In his first broadcast interview, Juul Lab CEO Kevin Burns tells CBS This Morning's Tony DeCopel the company is in contact with the CDC.
If there was any indication that there was an adverse health condition related to our product, I think we'd take very swift action associated with it.
The CDC says it's looking into nearly 200 possible cases of severe lung disease that may be tied to the use of e-cigarettes. The cases are reported in at least 22 states.
Vaping is promoted as a safer alternative when in reality it's not.
20-year-old Alexander Mitchell of Utah used to vape daily. He developed acute respiratory syndrome last month and ended up on life support.
I'm at 25% diminished lung capacity now. I think it's crazy how fast it escalated.
Dr. Jacob Caslow of Vanderbilt's Children's Hospital says the number of cases he's seen related to vaping is frightening.
Some as benign as coughing, headache, shortness of breath, but others more serious with lung collapse, respiratory failure, need for mechanical ventilation, and some of those more severe things.
And a new study in JAMA finds a growing number of middle school and high school students, about a third, are exposed to secondhand e-cigarette aerosols from being around people who vape. Hillary Lane, CBS News, New York.
Well, it's back to school, and that means it's time to update those vaccines for your kids in elementary and middle school. The state health department says more than 5% of students are getting waivers for their shots. Doctors say when parents choose not to vaccinate, it puts both their children and others, especially infants under a year old who can't be vaccinated, at greater risk for developing diseases. The Centers for Disease Control says 99% of the world's population is able to be safely vaccinated, and it is very, very unlikely to have a severe reaction to a vaccine. It's more likely an unvaccinated child will contract a deadly disease than it is that they would suffer a severe and lasting reaction to the vaccine itself. By making sure your child is aware of that, it could help make getting shots less scary for them.
I'm a mom too, and I have a entering second grader and an entering fourth grader, and they know that the vaccines that they're getting help keep them from getting sick, and so they call them their infection prevention shots, and they're excited because they don't want to get the flu, they don't want to get sick.
The Wisconsin Department of Health Services requires students from kindergarten to 5th grade to get 5 types of vaccines, including 4 doses of the polio vaccine, 2 for measles, mumps, and rubella, plus 4 doses of a combination of diphtheria, tetanus, and whooping cough vaccines. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you think cauliflower is only good steamed and smothered in cheese sauce, then today's recipe will change your mind forever. Stick around. As we get deeper and deeper into summer and swimsuit season, we're all searching for ways to look and feel our best. And for many of us, that means cutting down on carbs. If that sounds good to you, then you'll love what we're making today. We're turning cauliflower into what looks and tastes like rice without all the carbs or the guilt. So let me show you how to make a skinny version of fried rice. We start by cutting a head of cauliflower into florets and placing them in a food processor. Now, we pulse it a few times until the cauliflower almost looks like rice. Then we stir fry it along with some mixed veggies, soy sauce, a handful of spices, and a little sesame oil. You see, as it cooks and all the flavors blend together, we end up with what looks and tastes like our favorite fried rice, but without all the carbs and calories. See, I told you it was pretty versatile. So if you want to be up to date with what's trending, go online right now and get the recipe for what we call cauliflower fried rice, along with our priceless collection of other recipes where we turn cauliflower into all sorts of fun stuff, even flatbread. These are just a few of the many good-for-you recipes from our everydaydiabeticrecipes.com website. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a lighter way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, a sunny and cool Wednesday across the area. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has what's in store for the rest of the week in your first alert forecast next. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. You can call our volunteers. They'll help you with any consumer complaints. The number 608-270-2833. The service open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. Wall Street takes its cues from the bond market once again, and China goes crazy for Costco. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
Recession worries once again rattled Wall Street. Stocks started the session lower before fluctuating after moves in the bond market flashed another warning signal about a looming economic downturn. One fitness startup wants to take a crack at the public market. Peloton, which sells pricey stationary bikes and treadmills, filed for an initial public offering yesterday. The company says it lost $195.6 million last fiscal year, despite sales of $915 million. Peloton says it has more than 500,000 subscribers and more than 1.4 million so-called members. 10 years after splitting up, the Marlboro family could soon have a reunion. Altria, which sells Marlboro cigarettes and other tobacco brands in the U.S., says it is in talks to merge with Philip Morris. The two companies separated in 2008, but the declining number of smokers could bring them back together. Both companies have been investing in alternatives to traditional cigarettes, including a major stake in vaping giant Juul. And China is going crazy for Costco. The American retailer opened its first outlet in Shanghai yesterday, and it was quickly overwhelmed with crowds. According to local reports, consumers stood in line for several hours to get inside and purchase items. In fact, lines were so long, the store shut early. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Diane, thank you. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. As market has reversed itself. The Dow is up 174, the NASDAQ up 18, the S&P 500 up 12. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee out of the radio barn today, so here are your farm numbers. Let's check the weather now. Dave is standing by with a chilly afternoon.
Yeah, you could probably make an argument that it feels more like fall than anything else outside. And here's a little bit of why, at least why we're getting these pretty gusty winds still this afternoon. It's a concept that we call pressure gradient, or the difference in pressure from point A to point B. We have a pretty strong low pressure system north of us in Canada and a pretty strong high pressure system south of us across portions of Missouri and into Kansas right now. And that difference, because we have such a big difference in pressure, is what causes the wind to blow. The atmosphere wants to equalize itself in pressure and temperature. So because of that, we have those gusty winds out of the west. You could see off of that high pressure system setting up that westerly wind, and that pressure trough that shows up on our surface map is just kind of an indication of that. Basically, what all that means is we have those gusty winds showing up across much of the upper Midwest this afternoon. Right now at about 25 miles per hour in Madison, and closer to 30 in some spots across southwestern Wisconsin. But we are quiet on Doppler track right now. We are not really seeing any rain except well to the east of Madison and well to the south and west as well. I think we'll be dry for today, but tomorrow a cold front will come through, could spark off a few thunderstorms by the time we get into the late afternoon hours. And some of those storms, especially spots in Madison and south and east, those storms could be a little bit on the strong side. So we're watching that closely. Right now, not too concerning, but again, with it depends on how much moisture we do get during the afternoon tomorrow and how far north that moisture does arrive. So rain chances for tomorrow afternoon. I would have the umbrella ready to go. After that, though, we should be dry into Friday. Live look at a dry sky in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. Looking at mostly to partly sunny skies, you can still see those sailboats rocking back and forth with those wind gusts on the Edgewater Skycam in Madison. Right now, those wind gusts of 30 to 35 miles per hour just to the west of Madison, in Madison proper. At the airport, about 25 miles per hour, and closer to Milwaukee, we're also seeing some wind gusts in the 30s. Temperatures are in the upper 60s and low 70s, so well below normal for this time of year. And dew points, that is some really dry air in the upper 40s and low 50s. So very comfortable air sticks with us for today. Tomorrow, a little bit more humidity does arrive. So on future track, we're quiet for the rest of today, except for that wind. Still a little bit blustery this afternoon with wind gusts of about 20 to 30 miles per hour at times. And then temperatures in the low 70s for highs today. For tomorrow, starting off in the lower to middle 50s, and then temperatures will be near 80 degrees. Right now, that front not looking like all that much, especially spots closer to Madison. That forcing right now, at least according to future track, is a little bit better to the north and east. But we'll still watch for the threat of some thunderstorms for late tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. If we do get those thunderstorms to develop, some of them could be on the strong side. So we're not necessarily holding out hope for those thunderstorms to form, but one or two could be a little bit strong. So we'll keep an eye on that. We're dry on Friday, and then mainly south of Madison, the chance of rain is there on Saturday, but the rest of Labor Day weekend is looking very nice, dry with temperatures in the lower to middle 70s, plenty of sunshine.
68 on Saturday?
Ooh, yeah.
All right, it's coming.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, thank you. Ahead on News 3 Now at noon, why a picture of two classmates in Kansas is going viral. We'll have that story after a short break. Well, the first day of school can be overwhelming for any child, but an 8-year-old with autism was really having a tough time on his first day of second grade. That is until a kind classmate stepped in. As Morgan Mobley reports, their heartwarming story is now going viral.
I seen him on the ground with Connor as Connor was crying in the corner, and he was consoling him, and he grabbed his hand and walked him to the front door, and we waited until the bell rang and he walked inside of the school, and the rest was history. They have an inseparable bond.
What Christian didn't know that day is that Connor is autistic. He was overwhelmed with everything going on around him.
I fear every day that someone's going to laugh at him because he doesn't speak correctly, or laugh at him because he doesn't sit still, or because he, jumps up and down and flaps his hands.
It was a moment in time caught, now capturing the hearts of strangers all over. But to the boys, it was simple.
He was kind to me.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I was in first day of school, and I started crying. Then he held me, and I was happy.
Christian didn't see Connor as different, a message their moms and many others are taking from this.
It doesn't matter, color, it doesn't matter gender, it doesn't matter disability, it doesn't matter anything. Just be kind, open your heart, and that's what we need in this world.
No words spoken, just a quick gesture turned this little boy's whole day around.
One act of kindness, can change someone's life.
Can change the world. That's all it takes.
A life lesson learned from two 8-year-old boys.
After finding me and holding my hand, and I will get happy tears.
They say it's really as simple as this.
Be nice.
Great words. Christian and Connor's photo now has over 21,000 shares on Facebook. Dave, let's be nice in the weather.
All right, sounds good. It will be windy and with some sunshine this afternoon. Cool, with temperatures eventually reaching the lower 70s as we take a look at that 10-day forecast. Chance of a few thunderstorms tomorrow. Temperatures back into the low 80s. Looking like a pretty nice Labor Day weekend overall, though, with plenty of sunshine.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. Have a great afternoon.